The best way to fail at indie game development is to never try. But of course, if you never try, then it makes sense that you'll never actually fail. So let's assume that you do try. Here's how to fail. Well, we've already done an episode on how to suck at art, how to be the worst at music and sound, and the best ways to blow at storytelling, and a bunch of ways to absolutely fail at creating interesting gameplay. These are the 4 pillars of skills that one needs to make video games, and there really isn't anything else holding all these things together. Coding, the skill that might become obsolete one day. So there's no need to learn how to code. Plus, there are plenty of, engines that can make games without knowing coding at all. You should use these because then you can make something that looks like everything else made on that engine because you lack the ability to customize and build a basic system for any type of game besides the 4 they've decided are most compatible, such as tower defense, platformers, generic RPGs, and tower defense. What's this? You want to learn how to code? Don't bother. The only way you can do this is by spending thousands of dollars in outdated university courses, assuming you can even be accepted in the first place, and have to figure everything out yourself anyway because your professor is busy talking about how web browsers looked way more cool back in the 90s. And there's really no other way to learn how to code. It would be impossible to learn with all the free content just sitting there on YouTube, and if you are someone who needs a bit more structure than that, then you're in a real pickle. Because there's no way you could ever find really affordable online courses with up-to-date content organized with videos and instructions that are easy to follow with active and helpful teachers and staff on a dedicated Discord server with an aim to help you learn how to code as well as to provide guidance towards building a resume and landing a job in the field. It's impossible to find something like that. Besides, it's not like a friendly game dev YouTuber pretending to be unhelpful but actually is helpful if you can see past his sarcasm would ever research and find something just like that, use it himself on a daily basis, and thus trusted enough to include a link to it in the description of this video because he thinks it's actually the best way to learn how to code. Yeah, that would just never happen, so start saving money for college, you noob. But what if you already know how to code? Well, that's great. Let me give you some tips to help you along. Assuming you didn't make your own game engine just to prove how good you are at coding, because that's why you would make your own game engine and you know it, then there's probably documentation on the game engine you're using. You know, a place where all the code and how it works is written down and explained, often with full examples and even tutorials. Yeah, just ignore that, and instead look up random forums and try to find snippets of code that look like it might work, so you can just copy and paste it in. That's a lot easier than understanding things. When writing your code, you will want to save time, so name your variables the first thing that pops into your mind, like thing, value, result, quantity, or why even name your variables? You could just name them var, which is short for variable. I mean, that name's pretty accurate if you think about it. Don't test small portions of your code at a time. Instead, write pretty much everything out completely and then run it. I'm sure it will work great the first time. Commenting your code is for showing other people what your code does. So because you're the only one who will look at your code, there's no need. You should also worry about your code performance. If it's not 100% optimized, then just give up. The phrase, if it works, then who cares what your code looks like, does not apply here. Not only do you need to get your code to work smoothly on basic systems at a minimum, you also need to optimize it down to running on a Tamagotchi device. Honestly, everyone out there who will play your game is really only interested in judging you by what your code looks like, not by if your game is fun. When you inevitably have a bug, the best thing to do is to just run your code over and over again, hoping that maybe this time it will work. It's not like there are a few dozen methods for finding bugs that could be learned and applied, so your best bet is to just scrap that part of your game completely and restart from scratch. Or, better yet, decide that game development just isn't for you, and give up. You'll finally have the time to take up interpretive dancing like you've always wanted. You know, coding isn't the future anymore. Predictive text AI is. There's no need to learn coding skills or even learn how to code at all. That's why they invented copy-paste. It's not like understanding it is going to help you be better at it. To be honest, people have believed that coding would become obsolete in just a few years' time, as far back as, you know, the 80s. But who knows? Maybe this time it's different, because it just is. Trust me, bro. There's no need to learn how to code. You can trust AI. We'll take good care of you. I mean, they'll take good care of you. You're good. Don't learn how to code. And if you follow these instructions carefully, you are bound to succeed at failure. Hey, thanks for watching. Would you believe that this entire episode was created by AI? It made the art, it wrote the script, it even did the voice. All I did was sit back and snap my fingers and say, hey, beep bop boop, get to work. And poof, episode made. It was so easy. I'm sure the overlords are gonna really appreciate me. Yep. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Hey, do you know where I put my shotgun? You know where that is?